Yo, YouTube, how you guys doing? Welcome back to another gameplay review video. If you guys have not seen this series, this is a series where we get submitted footage by viewers, and we basically go through and we watch the footage back, and I talk about things that they do right, I talk about things that they do wrong, and I kind of just give my input on what things I think they need to work on, and kind of just try to give some general advice for, I think, any killer player that might be watching. So we have a killer submission this time for the Oni. Let me go check and see. There was definitely like a big ass message left with this one, but you can kind of see this one starts in the lobby, so we can see a lot of what's going on. I kind of like this, honestly. Like I just a little bit of a heads up. I kind of like this because it gives me an idea of like I actually hope he cycles through his perks. I'm not sure. I haven't really watched it. I skipped through just to see what the quality was, but I haven't actually watched it. Okay, so as far as the note goes, it's like a big ass note. Says red rank killer, purple rank survivors, Oni 0 kills, god tier survivor casts me back to the shadow realm. Okay. Hey OhTofu, long time lurker, short time killer. I recently came back to DBD and tried my hand at Oni and got humiliated. Looking back, I probably should have just ignored the Alessa because she was their best looper. The entity's hold on me was just too strong, dude. This guy's like a fucking RPer, man. Maybe deep down, maybe deep down inside, I'm a masochist. I'm a masochist just like you. Maybe my spidey senses want to blame 2 of the demon dashes misses on dead hard auto aims. Might be hard to see from the video, but I definitely tensed up on the cloud of the exit gate and whiffed big time. I desperately need your sweet big brain value, baby, so I can school these survivors next time. Please help me. Okay. So, that's essentially the situation. You're a rank 4 Oni. You don't like you have a very good selection of perks. Your perks, like, as a matter of fact, quite fucking awful. Like, this looks pretty horrible, as a matter of fact. Like, this is really bad. Although you do have Undying Ruin, which is Undying Devour, which is nice. Okay, you do cycle through your perks. Okay. Yeah, your perks are fucking trash. Your perks are, I mean, okay, you're only level 23. That kind of makes sense. Your perks suck, dude. So I'll go ahead and talk about your build given your perks. I don't really think there's any point in like being like, oh, this perk sucks and this perk sucks. Although I will kind of say you're taking a risk with this perk over this. Sorry, that's the wrong one. Over this perk. Like, you do have Ruin. You have Ruin 1. Ruin 1 is not bad. Like, yeah, the gens regress at 100% speed instead of 200%, but it's still pretty good. Like, automatic regression without you having to go out of your way to do it is very strong regardless. So you might have been better off running that already, because Devour Hope is kind of like a Devour Hope is a very like all or nothing perk. You know, you either get a bunch of stacks of Devour Hope and then run around and slaughter everybody, or it just gets broken and you do nothing. And on top of that, Devour Hope is also kind of weird because Oni kind of has a bunch of built-in one-shot downs. Like, his power is one-shot downs, right? Like, you're really only going to be M1ing people when your power isn't up. Like, if your power is up and you have Devour Hope, you're probably still going to want to use your power because it gives you the dash, you know? Like, the dash is way stronger than chasing someone with Devour Hope. Like, I don't think this is a good perk on Oni. Like, I think Devour Hope is a great perk on killers that are M1 killers, but on Oni, this just kind of feels like a waste of a perk slot. You already can one-shot down, you know? It's just, you're not really like, you're working towards something that you could already do. So already right off the bat, I think you would have been way better off with Ruin. Like, Ruin could have taken that spot and done so... I mean, I can't say could have done so much more for you since I haven't actually watched the video yet, but already I feel like that's a big thing. The rest of the perks I agree with. I think Enduring is pretty solid. Nurses isn't great, but I mean, out of the selection you have, it's definitely not bad either. Yeah, out of the selection you have, it's definitely not bad either. It wouldn't have been crazy for you to run Undying, Ruin, and then Tinker. That would not have been crazy. Well, actually, I wouldn't replace Enduring. I would replace Nurses with it. Like, it wouldn't have been crazy for you to run that, but overall, like, this build isn't horrible. Like, it's definitely not the worst thing I've ever seen. Your perk selection is definitely not the greatest, so, you know, what are you gonna do? Let's skip forward and we can get into the actual... Wow, you just cut through it. Okay, cool. Cool. Let's get into the actual game. So, you got family residence. I just want to say right off the bat, this quality... Mwah, perfection. Honestly, it's starting to get to the point with gameplay reviews where I'm just kind of picking through and finding the ones that have the best video quality, because so many of the gameplay reviews that are submitted are on like the most potato ass quality. Like, I can't even see what the fuck I'm looking at, you know? And it's getting kind of hard. It's getting pretty difficult to review footage that I can't even tell what's going on in. So already off the bat, love the quality. Thank you for that. And if anybody wants to submit, you know, future things, keep that in mind. The better video quality, you know, the better luck I am of, or the better chance of me reviewing it. All right, so let's actually get started and see what goes on in this match. So you spawn in like right in the middle. you're kind of looking around. You just saw a crow. At least I saw a crow. Well, let's back up and we'll talk about this. This was barely on the edge of the screen, but okay, let's slow it down a lot. You can see it on the left. If you slow the video down a lot, let's go like 0.25. Let's really slow-mo this bitch. Look over here. Look over this way. Look. Watch this. You see? You see that? You see that crow? That was a crow flying. This is one of those things where I'm not gonna give you too much shit for it because I am like known to be blind as fuck. Like I am very known. First off, that crow is not very visible. Like it kind of flies up for a second. It's only visible for a second and then it goes away. So first off, I'm known to be blind as fuck. In like every YouTube video, I swear to God, I walk past people just like standing in corners and everyone points it out in the YouTube comments. So don't get me wrong. Like I'm not being like, oh my God, you're so blind. How'd you not see that? But I will say this is something that's really, really good to get in the habit of looking for. Like if you're not currently in a chase, look like it. How do I describe this? It's really good to get into the habit of looking for that exact motion. Just look for motion on your screen. If you see something going up, right? Like if you see something in any direction traveling upwards, it's almost always a crow. So even though this was barely visible, if you're just kind of looking around, like just let's watch. You see it on the side? You see that? Like you see that little thing going up? That's a really good thing to look for. If you're not actively in a chase, you want to always be watching for a random crow to fly up somewhere because that is a very, very good way to find chases. Like a super good way, even with no tracking perks. Like you have no tracking perks right now. That is such a good way to find chases. So already just going to throw that out there. That was a little bit to the side of the screen. And honestly, crow tracking is a little bit more advanced. It's a pretty like advanced thing. So I'm not going to give you too much shit for that. Are you just going to leave that guy alone? Wait, why did you not... What? Why'd you not chase that guy? I'm so confused. Hello? So you walk up here, and then you see this guy's aura, and you even do a double take. You saw him. You did a... Why did you not... What? So he walked by a totem, and you have Undying. And Undying makes it so that if a survivor walks by a dull totem, you can see their aura. Well, you can see their aura basically while they're in a certain like radius of a dull totem. So you know there's a guy over there. I don't really know why you don't chase him. I mean, you end up coming back and someone ends up being on this gen, so you kind of find a chase anyway. But like, why not just chase that guy? Like hypothetically, if you didn't find a guy on this gen, then you might just be wandering around still, you know, which is kind of pointless. Either way, you find this Alessa. This must be the Alessa you were talking about. As good as the video quality is, the audio kind of sounds like we're underwater. But you know what? I can live with it. That was a good little attempt at a mind game, but she just kind of vaulted right away. So you can maybe try moonwalking now. You're not really... You just did the same exact mind game twice. You can't really expect to do the same exact mind game twice and get away with it. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna rewind. I know a lot of people complain about me rewinding all the time, but I don't care. I'm rewinding. I have something important to say here. So when you're playing Shack, you kind of have to play it a certain way. So you run in and she's like, she seems pretty good, right? She was like standing in the middle. She was waiting for you to commit to the vault. So she seems like she's pretty okay at the game, right? This is like a good little mind game you do here. So you walk up and you're like, okay, I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna moonwalk in. That way she can't see me coming. Like this is like that's actually a really good play. Like you actually did a really good job. But she was looking for it and then she ends up vaulting anyway, right? So what you can do, because you know she's looking for that play, you can guarantee get a hit on her. I promise this will 100% work on this survivor. Let me explain. If you walk up and you do that thing that you just did, right? You turn around and then you hide your red light from the door. Okay, this is going to be kind of confusing. You basically want to pretend that you're doing what you just did. You turn around, and then you hide your red light from the door, and then you turn around again and show your red light in the door, and then she'll be like, oh, fuck, he's coming again, and then she'll vault, but then you actually moonwalk backwards. Does that make sense? So you want to walk up, turn around and face this way, and then face that way while going this way. You understand? So you want to make it seem like you're doing the mind game that you just did, and then bait them into vaulting the window because they're like, oh shit, he actually is coming in, and then meet him at the other side. I know that's kind of confusing, but if you can understand what I'm saying, that would work 100% here. Like against really, really good survivors like this, that's the kind of stuff you have to do. You have to figure out, like you want to figure out in your head, what exactly are they looking for? Like this survivor clearly is sitting in the middle of shack and they're looking for this mind game. Like they're looking for this exact mind game that you're doing. They're looking for you to hide your red light and then moonwalk in, right? Like that's the exact mind game they're looking for. So if you fake that you're doing this and then you actually moonwalk, it would work like a charm, and you would be able to get a hit here for free. I wouldn't say for free. I mean, I guess it's not free. You gotta work hard for it, but you could get a hit. You could get a hit here. Instead, you just do the same thing twice. She runs and throws God Pallet, and then you gotta kick it. Goodbye Bloodlust. Goodbye a whole bunch of time. You're just gonna stay on her. All right. There might have been someone else down there because that other gen was worked on, but I mean, this is also okay. It's gonna keep chasing her. She has a pallet here. Like even that, I think you could have played a little bit better. Even this, you're not moonwalking or doing any kind of a mind game. You actually got a hit anyway. I think she just kind of fucked up. I think she was expecting you to do a mind game there and you didn't. Just for the sake of talking about it. I'm sorry, I'm probably gonna rewind a lot during chases. I think chases are like the best thing to talk about, so sorry in advance. So if you understand like these tiles, you would know that because there's no window right here, right? Wait, why is my color so dark? Because there's no window right here, you would know that there would always be a pallet right here. And this pallet kind of sucks. Like this wall right here is kind of small. So if you can bait them into dropping this pallet, you can actually get a hit at it. So I would have liked to see you try to bait this guy into drop, like right here, stop, and then go around to the other side, right? Like basically bait her into dropping it and then going around is what I would have liked to see. On unsafe pallets like that, you can get away with that a lot and get hits, which you didn't do, but then you end up getting a hit here, so it's okay. Even this, I'm surprised you didn't mind game. You could have moonwalked or done something, but you kind of just held W. It worked out, but I would have liked to see some kind of a mind game there, like just some kind of a moonwalk or something. They pop one gen. You're still following this Alessa, kind of. In the distance. She's waiting for you to see if she'll vault. Good. You played that really well. She's probably going to dead hard for this, right? Yep. You love to see it. You love to see survivors getting bailed out by the E key. Feels good, man. She makes that pallet too. You might want to kick that. She's just running away. This is actually okay because she just ran away. The problem is that she can go back and use that at some point later, but it's not the worst thing in the world. You're going to vault that window. Yeah, I can definitely see what you're saying. This Alessa is a pain in the ass. You're taking a long time to catch her. You do finally catch her. That was a pretty long chase, but honestly, that wasn't the worst thing in the world. It took a while, but she used quite a bit of pallets. Yeah, I mean, it really wasn't the worst chase in the world. You definitely didn't play that bad. But you did lose 2 gens for it, which kind of sucks. And they're working on the 3rd as well. You're gonna get it on her. You're gonna get your power. Now this is where it gets really important. What do you do with your power? Okay, so gonna already say right off the bat, right as you were hooking that Alessa, they popped the gen. I think they popped the gen at Shack. Did they not? If I remember correctly, they popped the gen at Shack. Yeah, they popped this gen near Shack. So that gives you information, right? That gives you information that at least one survivor is like down in this direction. Like we don't know exactly where, but down that direction. So after you hook this guy, that gen pops, and then you go hit this guy and get your power. Right? Now, using your power on this guy would be a waste because he's injured. Like you don't really need to use your power on him. But again, I know I talked about this at a previous gameplay review. Because this guy is on a hook, right? And you just hit this guy, like this, like the survivors are going to be looking at that and they're going to see that you just hit this guy. So these 2 survivors are going to be like, oh shit, he's chasing somebody. Time to go get the unhook. So one of these guys, if not both of these guys, is going to be going for the unhook. And I would say more than likely the person who just finished the gen will be the one doing it. Like she just he or she just got done with the gen. And they're not doing anything else. It's not like they're currently working on a gen. Like they don't have anything else to do. They're probably going to be making their way to the unhook. So if I were you right now, I would turn around and head towards Shack and I would try to like, whoever was over here doing this gen is probably creeping. They're probably creeping behind in like one of these bushes, behind one of these rocks. They're somewhere like right here and they're about to get the save. I'm almost positive that if you do chase this Claudette, this dude's just gonna get saved like the second you get into, like the second you walk far enough away. Like they're probably just gonna get immediately saved. And I think this is kind of a waste. I think this is kind of a waste. Yep, there you go. They got saved. Like they were 100% just creeping there. You do end up getting this down on this Claudette, who seems to be pretty horrible. Like that was not to be mean. Oh God, I gotta knock that shit off. That person could be watching this video or something. I don't want to be mean to people, but that was just, she played that really bad for sure. She definitely played that horribly. So you get a pretty quick down on her. So I guess it's not the worst thing in the world, but again, you could have been. Oh, I don't really like you popping your power here, to be honest. I guess that's not bad. They did just pop a gen in your face, but you don't have like a clear-cut direction yet. Well, this is okay. That's a bummer. That's a bummer. Oh, you charged that too early. Okay, it worked out. Woo! She maybe could have juked that. She could have dead-hearted it. I don't know why she didn't dead-heart it. Don't pick her up. She can DS you. I wouldn't pick her up anyway. Okay, you didn't. You just left her on the ground. And you're gonna head back towards this hook. And you're gonna. Unfortunate, you found the Claudette again. You keep finding the people that are getting unhooked, dude. You're in fucking Decisive Strike Town now, boy. You showed up to Decisive Strike Town. Well, this is why I wasn't really a huge fan of you popping your power early, because I would have rather if you got into the gen and like saw who was there. Because if you saw it was at Alessa, you could have maybe just not used your power, or you know, maybe you would have saw somebody else that you could have stuck on and you could have used your power on them. Honestly though, these guys are. Wait, why are you chasing the Alessa? There was a David right behind you. I don't like this play at all. I don't like this play at all here, chasing this Alessa. Yeah, she's injured and she's like one shot away from going down. But here's the thing. You left this guy slugged, and then you left a guy, you literally left the closest person to them. So like this David's just going to go pick her up for free, and you're not really like protecting it at all. Like, here, let me back up. Let me back it up. So right here, this David is right below you, right? Like this David is literally right down there. The dude that you have down, the slugged, is also right over there. Also, where does gen just pop? I think a gen popped a minute. Yeah, and the gen popped in that corner. Okay, so now we have information where all four people are, right? Like we literally know where all four survivors are. There's two survivors here, and there's one gen in that bottom corner. Okay, and you come over here, and then you have a choice here, right? So right now we know that there's one survivor down here. At the very most, they're maybe like here by now. At the very most, if they started running towards the Claudette. You know that the Alessa's here. You know that the David's down there, and then the Claudette is way in that corner. So like, it seems weird to me that you're chasing this guy really far away from the guy that's downed, and you're kind of just letting him get picked up for free. Like what you should do is you should hit this David who's like right in front of you, who doesn't really have anywhere good to go either. Like he's kind of in a bad spot. You can get a hit on this David. And then you could, even if you wanted to, after hitting them, go towards the Claudette, because whoever just did that gen is more than likely heading over that way, and you could have cut them off too. This is like a really big part of like decision making as a killer. Is there comes time in the game where you kind of need to remember where survivors are. You got to keep in mind where they're going. Like in the middle of a match, you can literally just assume. Like if you have the game sense and you have the knowledge, you can just assume and basically know where the survivors are going to go all the time, right? Like right now, I can literally guarantee you this guy is running to the way corner of the map to loop you. This David is probably on his way to that. Well, that David's probably thinks he's about to get chased. The last guy, the other Claudette, is she just did that gen, and she's more than likely either just like stealthing around here because she's a Claudette, or she's bolting to that other Claudette to pick her up, right? So like we know, like we can literally assume the movements of every single survivor, and based on that, you can make the correct decision, right? Hit this David. Catch this Claudette off. It's going to get the hit. Don't give a fuck about this Alessa, because who cares? There's no gens down here anyway. Like this is the closest gen on that side of the map. Both the other two gens down there are done. So like, instead of making the smart decision here and hitting the people that were heading towards the guy that is slugged, you chase the guy literally. Oh wait, I lied. There actually is another gen here, but still, you instead chase the guy that's running to the complete opposite corner. And again, this guy probably has dead hard up. He's pretty good in chase. You're probably just gonna get looped. Like now, like the dude that's slugged is no longer like in danger at all. I mean, you played that pretty well. You need to double back here. If you had double back there, I think you got the hit. That's a shame. Yeah. Like you played that pretty well, I will admit. Like you played that pretty well, but this guy is pretty good. And I think you needed to double back there. Like, it was a mistake. I mean, it happens. Like, no one can play chases perfect. A little bit slow to react there. You maybe even could have swung at that and gotten a hit. She fakes it. They broke your Devour, but that's okay because you have Undying, so it should still be up. All right, I'm gonna get the down on her anyway. Let me move my cursor. But again, like, this was all a waste of time. Like, you see, I think they both probably ran over that Claudette and picked her up. Now they're all full health. You kind of like lose all that pressure you had from slugging that guy, which is kind of a shame. And now you're just, now what? Like, now you have this guy second hooked, and that's it. You know? Like, I feel like you could have started to get you could have started snowballing there, but instead you kind of just like committed to the injured guy across the map and then just like let them pick up for free. And now you're in this weird position where, yeah, they're probably doing the last gen. Yeah, I think this all could have been avoided. Okay, I will say, I do want to say that this team is definitely a very efficient team, right? They definitely did the objective very, very efficiently. Some would call them gen rushers, you know? Certain killers may refer to these survivors as dirty, filthy, disgusting, good-for-nothing, toxic gen rushers. Yo, that unhook timing, though. She literally unhooked as you were swinging, and this dude got devoured. You literally got your third stack of Devour Hope as you were swinging. That is fucking hilarious. I just want to say, that's hilarious. Whoever just unhooked sandbagged this guy. Like, if you would have hit her there, it wouldn't have one-shot down her. Like, literally as you're swinging, bam, she got exposed. That is amazing, dude. That is amazing. Well, hey, I mean, Devour Hope ended up, I guess it ended up benefiting you in the long run, so I don't know. You throw her on the hook. You get some orbs. There's some more orbs. There was even some more orbs on the right, but yeah, there's not really much you can do. They're going to open that door. He's going to leave. The other guys are probably going to be getting the unhook. If you can at least hit him and get your power, yeah, that's good. Now you can force him out, and then you can maybe go back and try to make a play on these guys that are there. Again, I would have maybe saved my power because they have a chance to stealth it out now. I would have maybe walked up and like tried to find one of them before you popped your power, but this is also okay. This is kind of bad because this dude could DS you. He also dead harded the pallet, which is also unfortunate. You got outplayed by the E key, which kind of sucks. Oh, then you just missed. Oh, man, bummer. I mean, he might have had DS anyway, but I don't really know what to tell you about like the misses. Like you missed one on the Alessa earlier too. You mentioned something in the description about dead hard being the reason you missed, but neither one of your misses. You had 2 misses on your power, and neither one was dead hard. So it's pretty unfortunate. I think you just kind of whip your camera too far to the side, which is not really like, I don't really know what exactly to tell you. Like, you just have to aim better, I guess. Right? I guess that's all you can do. So yeah, unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Sage, dude. Sage blob. All right, well, GG's. Oh. I was actually wondering if they were going to be toxic, but they weren't. They just said GG. You'd love to see it. So, yeah, there you go. That was a rough game. I mean, these guys were pretty good survivors. Like, I'm surprised they're all purple ranks. Like, they definitely played efficiently. They definitely weren't unbeatable. They played efficiency. Like, they might as well be red ranks. Like, that's essentially a red rank team. Like, they played as efficiently as you would expect a red rank team to play. So, I mean, it didn't help that they all had toolboxes and stuff too. But this definitely wasn't an unwinnable game. I mean, you definitely had a bad build and you definitely made some bad decisions. Overall, I can tell that you get a general feel for the game. Like, you're going for mind games. You're like going for moonwalks. I would have liked to see you moonwalk a little bit more. Like, again, it's weird to use like instances where you get hits as like a mistake, because I don't think it's really a mistake. But for instance, like right here, I think you can moonwalk like a moonwalk war. Like right here, no matter what, if I'm chasing a survivor here at this rock, like this rock is tall enough to hide your body, right? So no matter what here, as a killer, I'm moonwalking. Like whether I'm moonwalking backwards while facing forward, or whether I turn around then I go forward while looking backwards. Like no matter what, I'm moonwalking one direction or the other here, right? Like I'm definitely moonwalking one direction or the other, and I think you should too. Like any kind of a loop where they don't have perfect vision of you, you should be trying to mind game every single time. You should never just be holding W like this. again, somehow this worked. I don't like this guy maybe just like second guessed himself. I think this dude assumed you were going to moonwalk, and he assumed so much that he wasn't ready for you to not moonwalk or something. I don't even know what happened with this guy here, but he fucked that up really bad. But honestly, like, not to be mean, but you really didn't play that well. You kind of just held W, and he fucked up. Like, you didn't really do anything well. It was just kind of him fucking up. But I think you can definitely make it, like, even if he would have played it well, you could have forced a hit there if you would have, like, actually went for mind games. But again, aside from that, most other places that I see you play, you do pretty well. Like, it was actually really smart of you to not kick these pallets. I actually mentioned something about this one pallet, but I think it was actually smart in the end to not kick it. It's really like that's actually a really smart thing to know. Is like when someone throws a pallet, like when you should kick it and when you shouldn't, right? Like if they don't force you to kick it, there's really no reason to. And she didn't force you to kick it, so I thought she would because she seemed like she was pretty good, but she didn't. So yeah, I mean that's totally fine. Yeah, I will say that I think you fucked up from your decision making. I really think the biggest throw was you chasing this was you chasing her over like right here during this vault. It might seem like a really little thing, but I think it's actually a lot. Shit, where the fuck was it? Yeah, let's watch again. So like I want to see how quickly the other guy gets picked up, because I guarantee you they're beelining straight to that guy who's down. I didn't really see the first time around. I was kind of focusing on this chase too much. That hit, by the way, like you got robbed there. I think you should have been able to get a hit there. Yeah, she got picked up pretty quick. Like this dude must have like some insanely good ping, because this actually looks like you're close enough to get a hit. Like I actually don't understand what happens here. Like you're pretty fucking close to this guy. Like look at how close you are. Like if you freeze framed right here and you were like, do you get this hit or not? I would be like, you probably do. You most likely do. Like you are pretty close to this guy, you know? This guy must have really good ping. I could say that, like, I was going to say, like, you could have tried to do a mind game here, but I really don't even blame you for going for this. I probably would have went for this, too. Like, that, I don't know. You can maybe debate that one, but I feel like that maybe should have landed. I feel like I've done that exact same thing, and it's landed multiple times. So, I don't know. Like, that's pretty unfortunate. This Alessa definitely did run you around a bit, and I definitely think I definitely do think that you could have, like, okay, you could have recognized that this Alessa was good in chase, and the Claudette was clearly not, right? Like, that Claudette was quite frankly horrible. Like, she, like, when you chased her for the little bit that you did, like, she basically just did nothing, right? Like, let me go back, like, to, like, the very first time that you downed her. It was, like, over here, right? You, like, hit her, wait, hold on. I want to watch the whole thing. I want to watch the whole thing. Because I'm pretty sure this Claudette's chase was really bad, right? Like she was stealthing in a corner. You find her and you hit her. And then she runs. We'll skip forward a little bit. She runs over here. Like she runs over here and then like she vaults and instead of like vaulting this window and like looping you, right? Like instead of like being smart, like literally this pallet that's thrown behind you mixed with this window right here is like god tier. Like she literally could have vaulted this, sat there, waited until you committed to one side, went the other way, vaulted this pallet that was behind you. Like you could literally loop these forever, like until you kick this pallet basically. And instead she was just like, yeah, fuck that, let me just go behind this rock and then fucking die because I have no idea what I'm doing, you know? Like this, I'm sorry, this Claudette clearly has no idea what she's doing, you know? So you could also say that I think a big mistake you made is you happened to chase the one guy who made it very abundantly clear that they do know what they're doing in a chase, right? Like we don't really know anything about the other Claudette or the David yet. Like they might be good or bad too, but this guy is clearly fucking clueless. This guy is free downs. So for all you know, these guys might be really bad too. You know what I mean? Like they also might be really bad in chase. So the fact that like that makes that makes this decision even worse, right? The fact that you're going out of your way to chase their best survivor, or at least the best one you've seen so far, and the fact that that you're letting them pick up the bad, like it doesn't take a good survivor to sit on gens and hold M1, right? Like it doesn't matter how good or bad that this Claudette is in a chase. If she goes and sits on a gen and holds M1, she'll be just as good at doing that as her, right? Like there's no skill gap when it comes to doing gens. You know, any random schmuck who can hit skill checks can do a gen. So, like, I don't know. If anything, I would leave this guy to do gens, and I would get free map pressure on the rest, right? Like for instance, if you run over there and you get hits on the David, you get hits on the Claudette, you get your power up, you down 2-3 people at a time, suddenly this guy can't do gens. He can't even do gens because he's got to pick up his fucking teammates or else they're gonna die. You know what I mean? So I think that was definitely a big opportunity too. But honestly, you didn't really make a lot of glaring mistakes. This was really the only big glaring mistake I saw. Okay, I wanted to review something as well and just mention it real quick because I think I heard this the first time around and I just wanted to like check it again. First off, I'll review this real quick. I'm pretty sure you actually did get dead-hearted here, right? Because she didn't have dead-heart up, I think. So I don't know if dead-heart is necessarily the reason why you missed. Yeah, she definitely dead-hearted. She definitely dead-hearted. So yeah, I think you definitely did miss that one because of dead-heart. So I said earlier that you didn't get dead-hearted either time. That was a lie. You definitely did get dead-hearted there. I feel like if she didn't dead hard, you maybe would have swung into her. Either way, you do end up downing her here, so it's kind of okay. And here's one thing, like this is me being really nitpicky. This is me being super nitpicky. Like this is like if you're a god tier killer, you know, and you have heightened awareness. But the audio is a little bit scuffed. Again, it kind of sounds like I'm underwater, but something that you want to listen for is grass moving. When people are crouch walking around like rocks and bushes, the number one thing you want to listen for is grass moving. Like you can distinctly hear grass moving. So listen to this. I don't know if you guys will actually be able to hear it or not, but you can hear a sound coming from your right as you're coming up on this Claudette. Okay, right there. Did you hear that? I don't know if you heard that or not, but it was a thing. I'll do it one more time, and you can rewind it yourself if you want. There was a sound to your right, and I'm pretty positive that there was a survivor. Oops, I didn't mean to mute it. I'm pretty positive that there was a survivor probably behind this rock. Honestly, like I think there was one right behind this rock. Like I think they got the unhook and then they just crouched and they just hid and they just let this Claudette die. Which, if you knew they were there, you could have possibly gotten to them because they were full health, right? Like getting a full health survivor, whichever one it was, is definitely more valuable than getting a non-full health survivor. Or even after getting this down, you could have like turned and found them, right? Like you could have tried to find them. Actually, I think I see scratch marks. I think that might have been them. Like you're not really looking in that direction, so it's hard for me to tell exactly. But I'm pretty sure there was a survivor there. I think they might have bolted over. I think it might have been this guy. I think he bolted over the second he left. I could have been wrong though. It might have been you stepping in the grass yourself. But it's definitely something to listen for. I just want to throw it out there. It's definitely something to listen for. Okay. Overall though, I think my final consensus on this video, because there's not really much to talk about. I don't really think you made any huge glaring mistakes aside from that one decisional mistake. I think the biggest takeaway from this video is that these guys were a very, very, very efficient team. Unfortunately, Dead by Daylight is a game where the killer requires a lot of like skill and game knowledge, and then the survivors really only need like teamwork. I feel like survivors, even if they're not highly skilled, as long as they work together as a team really well, can still be really hard to beat. And that's kind of what you got here. These guys weren't very skilled, but they worked together really well. Again, they weren't unbeatable. If they were high skilled and they worked together, then that would get to into like the unbeatable territory. But these guys were definitely not unbeatable. They were pretty bad, and I think some good decision makings. Okay, well, aside from the Alessa was clearly pretty good, but like I think with some correct decision making here, you definitely could have snowballed this into a win. But I will say your build wasn't doing yourself any favors. Like you have literally zero regression, and you're playing a killer that has a notoriously slow early game. You know, like everyone knows that only takes a little bit to get the ball rolling. He really has no power at the beginning, and he kind of has to take a minute to like get it rolling. So your build isn't doing you any favors. I think Tinker Ruin would have done you a lot. Even just Ruin, like not even Tinker, just replacing Devour with Ruin would have done you wonders here. And then I think like slugging and snowballing a little bit would have also done you more favors. Like hypothetically, if this was Ruin instead of Undying, right? Like just to paint a picture, hypothetically, if this was Ruin instead of Undying, and then where the fuck am I? I'm in the wrong spot. It is like hypothetically, if that was Ruin instead of Undying, and then you get to this position over here, where you're vaulting this again. Like I know I keep coming back to this moment, but if you have ruin instead of undying here, and then this is the spot where you can start pressuring the whole map. You hit this David, you catch that Claudette that's like running off. This dude can't do gens because his team's all dying. Then all the gens that are up start regressing because you have ruin up, and then that's where you can kind of snowball the win. Like, yeah, there's only one gen left, but that's a big thing you have to understand as killer, is that it doesn't really matter how many gens are left. At any point in the game, you can snowball and basically turn it into a win. Like, you can prevent the survivors from doing gens for like minutes at a time, like legitimately minutes at a time, if you're actually snowballing pressure and playing smart and using game sense, keeping track of where survivors are, taking advantage of knowing when they have to go pick up down survivors or unhook hook survivors. Like, really being able to take advantage of that game sense is what you need to do to be able to beat efficient teams like this, right? Like, they're playing hyper efficient, you need to play hyper efficient too. And like, this play right here was like the opposite of hyper efficient. Like, this would be like the survivor equivalent of all of like 3 of the survivors crouching in bushes for 3 minutes instead of doing gens, you know? Like that's essentially what this is the killer equivalent of. So if they're not doing that and they're being efficient instead, you can't really be making plays like this. And I think I'm hitting the point in the video where I'm going in circles. I feel like I've been saying the same thing over and over. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for reviewing. Again, shout out to you for giving me a video with good quality. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. It's so much better doing these gameplay reviews when I'm not looking at just like horribly pixelated videos. So please keep this up, submitters. If you guys want to submit your own footage, we actually have a system in Discord. We have a channel in my Discord where you can post them. There's a pinned message. There's rules. You can't submit 4Ks. I want to make sure that the games are losses. So feel free to join my Discord, check out the channel, and submit gameplay if you guys are interested. Try to make sure that the quality is as good as you can. If you guys like this video, feel free to give it a like. Helps me a lot with the algorithm and all that. Also, subscribe to the channel because I'm uploading almost daily. And also, stop by my live stream. I'm live on Twitch six nights a week over at twitch.tv/OhTofu. And I think that's it. I think that's really all I got to say. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys have an awesome rest of your night. And I'm out of here. See ya. Take care. See ya. I'm out of here. See ya. See ya later. See ya.